In this episode, I'm going to challenge you to step away from the daily grind to capture and document the journey toward your business success. Ready to be inspired by someone who's doing it today? Let's get into it.
Welcome to Why Business Teams Fail and How to Avoid It, a show helping small business owners build a radically engaged team that can run the business without you so you can remove the stress from owning a business and enjoy the freedom you deserve. Now, here's your host, Rich Allen.
Today you'll learn that far too many business owners miss the satisfaction that comes from documenting their journey. That no matter what stage your business is in today, there's an opportunity to generate excitement about what lies ahead. And there's no better person than you to capture the moments as you transform your business and create your ideal future. Here's my question for you this week. How well are you capturing the wins, lessons learned, and unique experience of your business journey? Sometimes a problem or issue that you're facing in your business can turn into an idea that gets you really excited. Have you ever felt that way? I know that back when I was first running a well-established manufacturing business, it happened to me. The problem I was facing at the time was that our employees were simply showing up, most times, and going through the motions, not interested or concerned at all at how well the business was going. All they wanted to do was punch the clock, do the minimum necessary not to get in trouble, punch out, and collect a paycheck at the end of the week. Their focus was more on their weekend plans, not how to make the business better or make a better product. It bugged me every day for weeks. It was constantly on my mind, and I knew I needed to find a way to change it. Then one morning, while I was taking a shower and getting ready to go to work, an idea came to me. My idea was that the business I was running was a lot like a bicycle. And since most everyone knows how a bicycle works and what makes it not work, maybe I could use the bike as a metaphor for our business and relate more directly to the employees who were just showing up every day. So I spent a couple of weeks working on my idea, thinking about every part of a bike and translating it into a part of our business. Once I had my idea semi-thought through, I called a meeting for all employees and brought my bike into the meeting. After some snickers and a few laughs, I shared my idea and walked everyone through how I thought our business was just like the bike standing on the table at the front of the room. The more I shared my thoughts, the more they found it interesting. When I finished, several of our employees came up and said it made sense to them, and they said, "I know what's wrong with our bike." I was excited and a bit surprised, but the idea really worked. By taking something complicated, like how a business operates, with all the business jargon and stuff most people don't know or don't care to understand, and translating it into something they know a lot about, in this case, a bicycle, they found themselves comfortable sharing what they thought needed to be fixed. So for the next 7 years, we used our bike as a metaphor for a business model to communicate with each other and transform the business into a powerful, profitable business operated by people who truly cared about how well they did. Sure, there were other things that we did along the way, but the essence of the journey started with my bicycle. Over time, I turned my bike idea into a complete business tune-up model and even wrote a couple of books. Today, I publish this weekly podcast to share many of the lessons I learned as I use this model with my business owner clients to help them tune up their businesses. My point is, my problem or issue ultimately turned into an idea that has given me much satisfaction, excitement, and freedom. So I'm constantly on the lookout for new ideas that come from real-life problems, issues, and frustrations that business owners are facing today. Which brings me to the reason why I asked this particular question today. How well are you capturing the wins, lessons learned, and unique experience of your business journey. I was meeting with the owner of a new startup business recently, and we were discussing what was going well with the new business and what issues or frustrations he felt needed to be addressed. While things were generally going good, aside from the normal startup issues and challenges, his main frustration was that he and his ownership group was not getting regular and detailed updates on the business from his general manager. And while this was a frustration and a concern, he also knew that he was prone to jump in when things weren't going well, yet he wanted to give space for his GM and avoid micromanaging. So I took it as a challenge. How could we provide the ownership group with sufficient, timely updates without inviting them to take over when things got difficult or off track? I met with the general manager and we brainstormed some ideas. We wanted the updates to be easy enough to put together without him having to sit down each week and write out a long dissertation on the highs and lows of the business. We also didn't want to consume time from his key leaders who were knee-deep in solving the many routine and sometimes complicated challenges of securing new orders, purchasing component parts, designing new product updates, and producing the needed units to fulfill the orders. After brainstorming several ideas, we hit on the idea of doing a weekly audio update for the ownership group. The idea was that each week the general manager would take 5 to 10 minutes at the end of the week and simply record a short 5 to 7 minute voice recording of the week's highlights. We left the idea there to think about it over the weekend, and we could make a final decision the following week. I shared a couple of voice recording software tools that might be useful to make the recording high quality enough to sound professional, yet not be so complicated that it became a distraction. That's when the general manager took the idea and supersized it. Over the weekend, he wrote out an outline that he would use for each weekly recording, and he did a practice recording to make sure it would work. Then he opened his GarageBand app and added a little intro music to liven things up a bit. Then he did a quick intro to his weekly message, and before you knew it, he had a very high-quality podcast-like weekly update that covered all the critical areas of the business. He decided not only to talk about the issues and challenges, but to cover their big wins and even give a shout out to a key team member who stepped up in a big way that previous week. 2 weeks after the idea was conceived, he sent his first weekly audio update to the ownership group. It was a very well done piece of work, and it exceeded the expectations that anyone had for getting a weekly update. Now, with the hard work behind him, the general manager is capturing and documenting the journey of his new business week over week. I recall hearing him share that their social media following had gone from just a handful of followers a couple of months ago to over 1,000 followers. I have the feeling I'll be talking about this again later when their social media followers hits the 10,000 and 100,000 marks. Now that he's capturing and documenting these kinds of milestones, it'll be fun one day to go back and listen to these early stage recordings. I hope by now you're asking yourself, how am I capturing and documenting the journey of my business? It's a question not only worth asking, but one that's worth taking action on. Every business starts small. Every overnight success has gone through some rough patches on their way to winning. Far too often, we're head down in our business working on the urgent issues of today rather than capturing the milestones, the big wins, lessons learned, and taking time to highlight the individuals who are getting the job done. Don't let this be your reality. It may not be your thing to do a voice recording every week, but you may be great at journaling. Great, do that. Or you may have a more visual business. If so, take photos and videos frequently and assign someone to capture, catalog, and preserve your photos for when the business is a huge success in the future. I keep telling this young, energetic general manager that if we do this startup business right, one day he'll find himself being interviewed by Guy Raz on his How I Built This podcast. And when that call comes in, and it will, I want him to be ready. I want him to have his journey well documented, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I want him to have recognized those who have helped along the way. I want him to celebrate the small wins, not just wait for the someday big payday. And I want the same for you too. So take a break from fixing today's problems and start capturing and documenting your journey. You'll be very glad you did. As we wrap up today's podcast, let me leave you with these simple thoughts. Number one, unless you're intentional about capturing the journey, you'll arrive at your destination without having the detailed memory of what it took to get there. Number two, take time every week to capture and document your highlights. It should only take 10 minutes each week. And number three, don't worry about whether it's perfect, just get started. Over time, you'll get better and better, and looking back will make you smile. If you'd like some additional support in this area or want to tap into our free resources, simply go to my website, tourtoprofit.com. You'll find everything you need there. Thanks for joining me today. Be sure to tune in next week when we're going to discuss why team culture is more important than comp and benefits. You won't want to miss it. Now, go make it a great week, and whatever you do, ride hard.
Thank you for listening to Why Business Teams Fail and How to Avoid It. Make sure to like, subscribe, and tell your friends so you don't ever miss an episode. Now go make it a great week, and whatever you do, ride hard.